Hey, it's your book hound here. Today we're going to talk about Those Who Wish Me Dead by Michael Koryta. But first, if you like what you see here, hit subscribe. We got new reviews coming out all the time, as well as special offers and all kinds of cool stuff. So we'd love to have you with us for the long term. Anyway, this book, which was made into a movie with Angelina Jolie, is set in, most of the book is set in rural Montana, but it starts in Indiana, which incidentally is where Michael Koryta is from. Michael Koryta was originally a private investigator and journalist in Indiana, and he then became a writer. And so this book starts in Indiana with a 14-year-old boy named Jace observing a brutal murder, and he sees who did it. So his life is in danger. The killers might come and get him. So the police have to figure out what to do with him, to hide him from these brutal killers. So cut to, as we say, and it is a movie, so we can say cut to, rural Montana, where this married couple, Ethan and Allison, run this like outward bound kind of wilderness survival program for at-risk teens, what we used to call hoods in the woods when I was a kid. And Ethan is a former military wilderness survival trainer. He's a master of survival in the wilderness. And he teaches the kids, how to make fires with sticks and how to orient themselves in the woods and all kinds of stuff like that. So they get approached and are asked if they can hide this kid in their program. And they don't even know who the kid is. They just say, this kid will show up. He'll be part of a group of your program, but we need you to hide him. So they're like, okay, we'll do it, no problem. They take this on. Now, in parallel, the two crazy killers who killed the man back in Indiana are closing in on Montana, and it's not clear how they know where to look, but somehow they're very smart, and they're very weird. The characters are very weirdly and cleverly written. They have their brothers, and they have this like weird way of talking to each other, very creepy. They are on the trail of this kid because they need to kill him so he won't blab about who they are. Now, in parallel, we are introduced to a character named Hannah, who's 29 years old, and who I think is played by Angelina Jolie in the movie, who is a fire warden. They're in the middle of the wilderness here, so she's set up. Her job is to sit in a fire tower in the middle of nowhere and watch the horizon for forest fires and radio in if she sees any fires. And what we learn about Hannah is that she has a backstory. She was a wilderness firefighter, and earlier, maybe the previous year or 2 years earlier, she was in a terrible fire which killed everybody in her crew, including the man she loved. And so now she's sort of hiding out, if you will, just in this quiet place where she can be by herself and not have to deal with anybody. And she notices a fire starting on the horizon, and it's a fire started by these two crazy killers, and she calls it in. And this sets into motion the story of the book. As the fire starts to grow, it's spreading towards them. These killers are closing in on the kid. The kid figures out what's happening and he runs, and I'm not going to tell you the rest of it because I'm going to get into spoiler territory. But overall, Koryta is a very good writer. He's a very talented thriller writer. You're really involved in this story, and each, the characters are different enough. You care about them. You really want to know that. My only criticism here is that the story of Hannah is a little bit telegraphed. Like, you sort of feel like from the minute she sees that fire on the horizon, she's going to have to confront her backstory and deal with what happened to her lover and all this kind of stuff. That's kind of obvious. And there's also some weird holes in the plot, but whatever, you don't really care. But anyway, that's Those Who Wish Me Dead by Michael Koryta. I would definitely recommend checking it out. There's a link if you want to order the book in the description below. And thank you for being with us today with your book hound.